Hey everyone, Hammer Dan here with Hammer Performance. Today we're going to show you how to install one of our billet pushrod tube base kits in the bike. Sometimes this can be a little tricky here. This kit is set up and designed to work with the 91 to 03 XLs and earlier model Buells, of course, since it's kind of the same motor configuration. But we're going to go through the hows and the do's and don'ts and how it all works, covering a little bit on the stock ones as well to kind of help you out here on putting these things together so we don't get a leak in the bike. So if you purchased a kit from us, it's going to show up like this. You're going to have your two bases here, your 4 Allens, and then your 4 bottom seals and your 4 top seals. Okay, here is a stock setup there just for reference. So this is what you'll get. We want to go ahead and unpackage it here, pull our bases out of there, pull our 4 bolts out of here. Okay, got some cool stickers in there to put on the tool cabinet. So here we have it. On the stock base that we have here, they come with a teardrop shaped base, and this is a very poor design from Harley in our eyes anyways. It's held on the back. There's a pin. There's normally a pin in your case. You can see the 4 holes there on the cases where the pin would go, and that alignment pin will align up with this teardrop shape here, and of course your Allen bolt in there, and slides down on the pin. So to put our one-piece base on, which we think is a far superior setup, plus it's cool looking with the billet and whatnot, but to put our base on there, we need to remove the 4 alignment pins. You can do that easily with a pair of pliers or a small pair of channel locks. Just wiggle them back and forth, they'll come right out of there. So very easy to remove those. So first thing you want to do if you're putting our base kit on there is remove those 4 pins. Okay, and then we'll run through here how we want to kind of set this up. One of the things that I tell people to make it a lot easier, if you want, and we're not going to do it that way, but you can take these rubber seals. Now when you unpackage this, be very careful that you don't have motor oil on your hands or anything like that to where you get oil on the outside of this seal that's going to go up into the bottom of the base there. The minute you do that, you're set up to fail from the beginning. Okay, so we need clean seals. At least for the bottoms here. That's very important, especially on the outside. Okay, if we get it on the outside, you got to clean them the best you can with any kind of cleaner to get any oil off so we don't have it. But I suggest to people to make it super easy, if you want, a lot of guys do this, is you can take these seals when we're putting them up into the bases here, in that you can take and put a little bit of super glue in the bottom of the base and super glue this seal right down into the base there. It has to go all the way down like that. It's going to stick out just a little bit. Okay, that's going to be our sealing surface there that presses down onto the case. Okay, but we're not going to super glue. We're going to go ahead and try and do this without the super glue. So we want to go ahead and put all 4 of our seals here down into our each base, 2 in each. Push it all the way down like that. Okay. Step 1, get those seals in there. You can super glue them. It'll make it a lot easier if you do super glue it, but you don't have to. This is the way you do it with if you don't. Okay, you get this seal down in there. Again, they need to be clean and dry to put into that base. They're going to stick out just a little bit there. Okay, so we got all 4 in there. Next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to go ahead and put our rubber O-rings up into our heads. They have to go in the heads and seat properly in the heads. Okay, now what I like to do to make this a little bit easier on our rubber O-rings is I like to take a little bit of motor oil, just a little, okay, and we're going to go ahead and lubricate our seals just a little bit with some motor oil, just a tad there. Just doesn't have to be a thick layer or dripping or anything. Just going to want to. Now I suggest doing that after you put your seals in your base there. Wipe your hands off really good. If you got brake clean, something like that, soap and water, whatever the case, to take the oil off there. Okay, pant legs, doesn't matter. We're going to take these seals, we're going to put these up into the heads, and they have to seat properly. There's like 2 lips there. It's like a double lip that you have there that we want to go up into. We want to make sure we get it seated all the way up in there. So if we get it up and push with your finger all the way around so it sits flush with the highest part in there, just like that. I'm going to do all 4. We'll get this one kind of up in there. Push it around with your finger. And again, your motor's in your bike probably, so you're working on the side there to get them all up in there. A lot of times as well, if you have the kit from us and you're doing a performance package and you have this, you know, you can put these seals up in the heads before you put the heads on the bike. Makes it easy that way as well. But you want to make sure that we're seated, so we're not seated. There we go. We want to make sure we get all the way up in there. We have a little bit of oil coating on them so that when we go to put our tubes up in these seals, press the tube up in there, it'll slide up there nice and easy. Okay, so there we have it. We got our rubber seals up into the heads. Okay. Now in 04 and later, it's a completely different setup. This is only for the 91 to 03s that we sell this base kit for. Okay. It seals a lot better. It's one solid piece to seal. Now here's the trick. This is where it gets tricky for us here, where a lot of people fail as we go along. As I said before, on these bases, the seal is up in there and it's barely sticking out just a little bit. It has to stay that way through this whole process, okay? If this seal pops out of this base at any given time along the way, we stop and start all over. Okay, so this is what I suggest. We got our seals clean and up into our bases. You're going to take your pushrod tubes, make sure you clean them up. You can use glass cleaner or whatnot to clean them up nice and shiny. If you have chrome ones, make them all nice and shiny and clean, get all the dirt and everything off. And then what we want to do is we want to take some motor oil, fresh motor oil, and we just want a little bit on our finger there. And we want to rub around just a little bit of coating here on this fat part that flares out, just a little bit like that. Okay, and we're going to do that to each one. See the kind of coating that we got there. This is going to help us get the seal over this flared out part as we put the base and seal on there. Okay. And not a lot. We don't need a lot. This is a very minimal coating here. We don't want it dripping. You'll fight yourself. Okay, so there we have it. Now, our next step is to put our bases over these tubes, one base at a time over 2 tubes. Now, you can try to do it at the same time. If we take 2 tubes, and we take our base, okay, with the seals in there, make sure they don't pop out. We can try to do 2 at one time. It gets a little awkward as we set it on a table or something. We need to try and push the base down, but it makes it difficult. What I suggest, if you get a chance, make sure we don't pop out of there. We'll set that down. We do 1 at a time. Okay, it lets us grab better, and we try to work it down like that. And as we slide it down, it'll squeegee off the oil. Okay, see that, how we popped out there? That's not going to work for us. We have to start over. Okay, so we will go and pull this out of there, out the bottom. We will push that back down in there again and start over. That popping out, if we continued forward and tried to put it on the bike, that would cause a leak. So again, we're going to go over and we're going to try to push evenly to get it down. like that. Okay, so we're good there on that one. Okay, so we're good on that one. Going to take our other tube and we're going to try to work this one down. Sometimes it can be a bugger. To get it over that tube. There. Okay, and we're going to push it all the way down to squeegee it down. We need to take a look now here. Let's see where we're at. We're still pretty good there. I'm a little concerned with that one seal. But we're going to go ahead and continue to push this base down. Now I can tell you this, I'm working with black tubes, which can be a little more difficult because of the paint that's on them. Okay, I think we're still good so far. And I can tell you guys, this is, sometimes it's better to okay, there we go. So all the way down flush is where I like to push it. I think we're still okay there. Our seals haven't popped completely out of there. Okay, I think we're okay. So we're going to take our tube. Now on our Pushrod tube bases, we have the hammer hands on there. Preferably each one to the outside. You can put them on however you'd like. This way, it doesn't matter. But we'll put them to the outside. So this will be our front one. I'm going to grab the bottom of this. I'm going to put it up into my head and get my tubes to go into my rubber O-rings and push hard up in there without pinching them. Okay. Get it up in there real good. Almost there. So I'm gonna try and get a screwdriver here to help me pry up. There. Okay. So I got it up there. I'm gonna get it over. Take a look at the bottom and make sure our seals still haven't popped out yet. I don't have a flashlight. Grab that flashlight right there. Again, if our seals pop out completely, like that one right there, I don't think that's going to work. We need to start over. You see that seal right there? How that one came out? Not going to work. Okay? Got to start over. Again, we're having a hard time getting it on there because we've decked the heads quite a bit. So see that? If you get that, no good. That right there is leaky, leaky, leaky. So we're going to go ahead and pull them back out. I'm going to put our seal back down in there. Put that one back down in there. Make sure you don't get anything on the outside of that seal because then it'll pop out for sure. Okay. Again, we're going to wipe our tubes off. And this is how you got to fight it, guys. It takes a while to do this. Like I say, some guys will super glue them in. Super gluing them in and letting them dry, they ain't gonna come out, okay? So then you don't have to fight this, but I'm gonna try and show you the way I do it without the super glue, right? If I struggled with this like this, if I was not showing you, and this was my bike or I was gonna continue to do this without a video or anything, I'd be super gluing them, okay? It'd be that much easier, it'd be quicker, faster, I'd be done with it and not have to worry. So again, a little bit of oil here. I'm going to coat around our tube, make it easier to slide them down. Okay, and normally when you saw me prying up to get this up on there, it won't be that difficult for you guys out there unless you're doing 120 plus horsepower package. You know, we had to deck the heads pretty good to get our compression where we needed them with this whole setup, and so of course that shortens our height. Once we shorten our height, we have to push our tubes up there a little bit higher and a tighter fit in there to get these things to go. So we're going to go ahead and work this over. Make sure we didn't pop out of there. That looks pretty good so far. Let's see if I can kind of go all the way down with that or close. Okay, that one's good. Let's see if we can work this one here without disturbing the other one. Okay, like that. And I will say, if you get a little more oil on there, things slide down a little bit easier, but you got to be careful. You don't want a bunch of oil down there. So far, we look good. Okay, and we're all the way down to the bottom. So let's see if we can get these up in here again. Maybe the second time's a charm. Like that. See if I can just push up the screw. There we go. Okay, so let's take a look again with the flashlight. Hey, I think we got it there. We're looking good. Nothing looks like it completely popped out. So at this point, I'm going to quickly push down so that the seal doesn't have a chance to pop out of there. Okay, there we got it. We grab me the blue Loctite. So next thing we're going to do is take two of our Allens here. We're going to put a little bit of Loctite on them, blue. Okay, so this may be a challenge to torque these down. Okay, so you may have to do the old German torque spec Gudentite. Just be careful we don't strip threads or anything like that. Little bit of blue on there. Go ahead and get it started in there. Quarter-inch T-handles work nice. If not, you can use an Allen wrench to do it. Okay, and as we tighten it here, it's going to pinch down this whole base. Press the seals down. Again, if you have an Allen wrench, kind of snug them down there pretty good. And as you go back and forth snugging them down, if we take a look over here on the side, so we're down real tight there. We're down tight over here all the way on the edge there. You can see that. Yep, right in there. That's, you know, we're nice and flush there. If the gasket popped out of there at any point in time, we'd be pinching that gasket and we'd have a leak. Okay, so that looks really good. Just double check, make sure we're snug. We're snug. Okay, everything looks pretty good. I think that one's successful. Okay, go ahead and clean the oil off our tubes here. The other thing you want to check at that point in time when you get these in, if you think everything is good, you need to take a look up here at the top of the rocker boxes. Okay, we need to make sure we didn't pinch that rubber O-ring seal and that it's sitting nice and flush in there around the tube. That's very important. I've gone through this whole process at times and I've caught the rubber O-ring with the lip of the tube there and pinched it up in there and whatnot, and didn't know it and pay attention. Put the whole bike together, started it up, and we're gushing oil everywhere. So just dripping out of there. So that's very important to make that check as well up on top. Okay, so we'll go ahead and do the second one here. See if we can get this. Again, looks like if we go just a little bit extra oil, not too much, something that'll help us slide this thing down the tube as we go here. Okay. Critical we don't get any oil on the inside of the seal. Get this over it. I'm going to try and work this down. Let's take a look. Looks pretty good. That backside looks, maybe able to kind of push it. Yeah, see, I was able to push it a little bit back up in there, kind of. We'll have to pay attention to that. See if that pops out, we're no good. Let's start over on that and just see. So I know too, the more we do this, we'll stretch those seals just a little bit as well. And that'll help us. Okay, so let's make sure our seals press back in there really good. Back over it again. There we go. Okay, much better. We'll go ahead and see if we can get this one. This may be a bugger here. We're going to try. Okay, I'm going to push that all the way down if we can. Makes it difficult to slide down because we squeegeed the oil off of it. So if we get it down there like that, straighten our tubes, let's take a look. I don't know if we can try and push that back in there just a little bit, like that. I think we're good. Okay, so let's see. We haven't popped out of there, so I think we're still good if we can hold that. Try to get these tubes up in there like that. Press real hard. Like that. Get that over. Once you get it there, you get it over, let's take a look. See. Yeah, I don't like that. Yeah, that one looks there like it's coming out. I don't like that. Okay, let's try it again. Second charm, second time maybe a charm. So let's pull it out, pull it out. Okay, clean things up just a little bit here. Clean this one up a little bit here. Go a little bit more around there. So now we may have stretched our seals just a little bit more, which is okay. It'll help us here. Just kind of slide things down. Okay. It can be a pain, guys, without the super glue. Key is to make sure we don't get anything on the outside. Let's push that one back down in there again. That's very important. Okay, make sure they're both down in there. We haven't touched the surface of that yet, so we're going to go ahead and try not to kill ourselves putting this thing down on here. Like that. And go down with it. Put this one in. Like that. Yeah, it looks like second time is a little bit easier there for us. As we can see, we're good. We haven't popped completely out of there. It's perfect. Get those up in there. Like that. Get that one up over the lip. Back one too. Like that. Let's get it slid over. Let's slide it down. So let's take a look here. We can try to see if we push this down on that one there. If it pushed it up in there. I think we're okay there. We have the back that should get pushed. It's a, personal preference here, call on what you think. We can push that back up in there on the back side. If not, we have to take it off and do it again. I think as we tighten it down, if we look there, I think we'll get that right in there. It hasn't popped completely out of there, so I think we're okay there. But again, if you are uncomfortable with that and you want to double, triple check for sure, you can pop it off and redo it. Blue Loctite. I feel good with that. So we'll get this started. Both of these started here. See it there, kind of pinched down. Push it back up in there since it didn't pop completely out of there. And that's our concern. If it pops out, there's a lip in there, so if it pops out past the lip, you gotta start over. That's just a given there. Like I say, you can keep doing it until it looks like the more we do it, the seals expand a little more and kind of get a little stretchy to seal things up. Double check, so we're all the way down. Otherwise, if you pinch a seal, it's not going to sit flush, right? As you can see over here, we're flush on both sides there. There and there. So we should be good. Excuse me. Look up on top, make sure we haven't pinched the rubber O-ring and that it's sitting where it should be in there. Everything looks pretty good there. All right, so I think we got it. I think we're good. Continue to do it over and over and over until you get it, or use super glue. Usually super glue, one time, done deal. And even if you use super glue, you can put oil over it so it'll slide down nice and easy and get it to the bottom. Otherwise you struggle with it, as you saw there. Okay, clean up your tubes. And voila, we have a nice little trick, one piece pushrod tube base. Better than the stock thingy. Teardrop shape. All right, so there we have it. Again, very important the seals don't pop out the bottom. That's the big problem that's out there with guys even putting the stock ones on. right? You're trying to get that teardrop shape over the alignment pin. And if that seal comes out of there at all, right, pops out of there in that, and you can tell when you look at it whether it's still up in there, because you know the tube is pressing the seal out, the base is cupping the seal, and the only way that seal is able to go is down, right? Nothing's holding it in down. And so with the pressure of the tube pushing it out, the force of it's trying to force it somewhere, the base is cupping that seal, trying to hold it tight against the tube, and it wants to go down and out. So we want to make sure it stays up in there. The way to do that is to make sure we have no oil or any kind of slipperiness on the outside of that seal up into that base, or it's going to squirt right out of there on you, and you got to start over, get new seals, clean things with brake clean, whatever the case may be, to get that off of there. So those are a few tricks and pointers that I've learned along the way as I go to put these things on. Again, make sure it don't pop out. If it does, you're going to have leaks no matter what. Make sure your rubber O-rings are in the heads. Don't put them on the tubes. Put them in the heads, and then put the tubes up into the O-rings. That's very important. And other than that, make sure you're sealed good, and make sure everything's nice and tight. You're not pinching seals. Other than that, you should be very successful at it. Again, easy way is a little bit of super glue on there to super glue those seals in. It doesn't hurt at all. So other than that, there you go. Hammer Performance Pushrod Tube Base Kit Assembly. So click on the little button up on the left, follow us. Otherwise, follow us on Facebook, like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Peace out.